The Biolizard was the prototype for Project Shadow and serves as the final bosses of Sonic Adventure 2. But the lore behind it runs rather deep, as it's interwoven with the past of Gerald Robotnik and leads up to the creation of Shadow the Hedgehog. Much of this backstory was already hidden in Sonic Adventure 2 and further elaborated in the Japanese Sonic Adventure 2 Perfect Guide, and more recently, more info has been revealed alongside Sonic X Shadow Generations in the form of Gerald Robotnik's journal. The physical version can be obtained as a pre-order bonus for the physical release of the game, and this is just a paper booklet. What happened to the book? There was an infomercial promoting it and everything. Did Sega just scam me again? Today we are talking about the Biolizard. In the beginning, Project Shadow was born out of Gunn's desire for advanced weapons research and the President's obscene request to discover a means to create immortality. All due to Gerald Robotnik's discoveries researching a Chaos Emerald and the incredible potential of Chaos energy. After initially refusing, Gerald eventually gave in when the President kept insisting, and Gunn threatened to withhold funding, and his beloved granddaughter Maria became greatly ill. Project Shadow became Gerald's answer to all three. The project to create a powerful, undefeatable living weapon that could survive anything, the DNA and genes of which could be researched to find cures for the incurable. In short, the ultimate life form. Finding a cure for Maria had become an obsession for Gerald, and creating the ultimate life form served as his perfect opportunity to find it. As research and development commenced for Project Shadow, the research team tried to figure out a way to siphon chaos energy from the emeralds and then apply it to living tissue. During this process, Gerald developed chaos drives, artificial crystal replicating the material of the emeralds kept inside a small device that can store the chaos energy. Supposedly, direct application would be too harsh, but a living organism made to be compatible with chaos energy that can directly interface with an emerald would be fearsome indeed. With tests proving promising, the next stage was trials on living subjects. Gerald chose to use salamanders as they were known for their regenerative tissue, which allows them to regrow limbs and organs such as heart and brain. I'm not making this up, this is a real thing, boys and girls. Who said video games didn't teach you anything? And in Gerald's case, the salamanders were a manageable size for testing with the chaos drives to see how their vitals respond. Meanwhile, with Gunn breathing down his neck, he supplied them with chaos drives to use as batteries for their mechs and machines, which they still do to present day. Unfortunately, an impasse was reached with the test subject. Its biology was reacting heavily to the chaos energy, causing accelerated cellular growth. Salamanders typically fit in the palm of your hand, but this one was growing at a rate where its own organs and biology couldn't support itself properly, requiring artificial replacements and an external life support system powered by chaos drives. But as it continued to grow, that life support system would need to require continuous upgrades. The subject was changing, becoming uncontrollable, roaring and thrashing about. Soon enough, not only was its size continuing to increase, but it was also producing its own chaos energy and was becoming a biohazard. Hence the nickname, Biolizard. It was moved to a larger location on the Ark to provide it more space and where the researchers could continue their experiments. Project Shadow Confidential Report 23 states, current status as of 12:30 AM on January 27th, we initiated the experiment to start Shadow's first prototype. Experiment was successful, the lifeform's external engine and the organ to start chaos control are working normally. However, the measurements of the experiment was higher than we expected. We will continue this experiment at the central dome from now on. Note, Professor Gerald pointed out the growth and speed of the prototype is getting faster. The body is currently 2.7 meters and the current weight is 350 kilograms. It's growing so fast that in the last couple of days, at an exponential level, Professor has requested that the control part of the lifeform's vital organs need to be reinforced. We need to keep an eye on the prototype. Because the prototype is not strong enough to walk by itself, but it has a strong neck and tail. The prototype is still sensitive to the temperature and human changes, and its intelligence and learning ability is still low. At this point, the prototype is still more like an animal. All developmental issues aside, seemingly things with the Biolizard were progressing. With great regenerative capabilities and with both the Chaos Drive-powered life support engine and a special organ, it was capable of using Chaos Control on its own without a Chaos Emerald. But joy was short-lived when they realized the Biolizard they created was a monster. Violent and rageful, attacking scientists, and was far too large and powerful to be controlled. Regrettably, it had to be deemed a failure. Professor Gerald was understandably disheartened by this. All that work, what to do next? Out of desperation, the next attempt required a partnership with an evil space warlord, and everything seemingly went well. During this, the Biolizard was kept under observation, but the residents aboard the Ark were fearful, especially after it had attempted to escape from the Ark's research facility, which led to the information of how powerful and dangerous the Biolizard was, ended up being leaked to Gunn. It could have been the planet-destroying Eclipse cannon, maybe it was the powerful rampaging robot, it could have been making deals with evil space warlords, but it was Project Shadow, a dangerous monster that led Gunn to raid the Ark, stop or destroy the project, and hold Gerald Robotnik accountable. The Biolizard was found in the deepest part of the Ark, and apparently did not go down without a fight before being encapsulated and sealed away on the Ark. Everything went wrong that day. Everything taken away from Gerald, who went insane after finding Maria's name on the list of the deceased, leading to his revenge plot entrusted to be carried out by his finalized, perfect ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog. Events between post-Ark raid and the execution of Gerald Robotnik, and what steps he took to both set up and initiate this plan, involving turning the Ark into a destructive meteor, with the Biolizard acting as a failsafe to defend the cannon's core from anyone to try and stop it, keeping the Ark on its collision course at all costs. Which is fascinating that this would be possible considering how uncontrollable the Biolizard was, but, assumably under the influence of desperation, anger, and insanity, he clearly found a way.
Glorious era of the Empire of Pac-Man.
50 years later, Rouge the Bat uncovers the secrets of Project Shadow's prototype, not knowing the context that another final version had been made, throwing into question if this is Project Shadow, who is this hedgehog? When confronted, Shadow had nothing to say as he had never seen the Biolizard before and his only concern was completing his mission. At the end of the game, when Sonic and Knuckles try to breach the cannon's core, they are blocked by a Chaos Control followed by the Biolizard, which is then confronted by Shadow, who holds it off while the other two get the Chaos Emeralds. In the context of Sonic Adventure 2's story, the Biolizard serves as not only the final obstacle, but a mirror to Shadow, for everything he had supposedly represented, a dangerous, violent living weapon. Fighting it off serves as his redemption in the story, proving he is none of the things the Biolizard is. After its defeat, it uses Chaos Control to transport itself onto the end of the Ark's cannon, merging itself into the machinery in the process. Gross. The thing is destroyed for good thanks to the efforts of Super Sonic and Super Shadow, and that's the end of the Biolizard. There is a lot more to this second last boss of Sonic Adventure 2. So much history behind this, and I think now I understand this line from Shadow in Shadow Generations.
You tortured soul, I will end your suffering.
And showcases new abilities in its reimagined boss fight. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it fascinating because I certainly did. Stay tuned, and stay awesome.